Hey YouTubers, thanks for checking into the video today. Today's review is going to be on the St. Croix Legend Elite series of rods, alright? So these rods, I've got two of them here for you. They're one of St. Croix's premium models. So if you guys are looking to maybe get some more information on these rods, maybe make a decision in whether or not you want to open up your wallet and make the purchase, hopefully this review is going to be in-depth enough to help you out with that and give you a better understanding about the technologies, the componentry, and the materials that are put into this rod, and hopefully help you make a decision. At the end of it, guys, I always like to do my reviews with to be more factual as anything else. Okay, so I will be giving you a lot of factual information about these rods, but I'm gonna at the end of the video, I'm gonna be giving you more my opinion, guys. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I have the right to my opinion, but more so, if there is anything about these rods that I really like, I'm going to let you know. And if there is anything that I dislike about the rods, I'll let you know as well. Because obviously, look, I've personally used these rods heaps, a lot actually. They're actually my go-to rods, and I've had extensive experience with them on the water. So I'll give you that feedback and take away from it what you want. And hopefully that helps you out with, well, making a decision, and also maybe just getting more information on these rods. And maybe you're just one of those types of people who like to watch, reviews and stuff on YouTube. But I'm going to get straight to it. I've got two of them here. You're going to have a Baitcast model here, so casting model, which is this one here. All right, and then the next one here is going to be the spin model, where if you hold it there, your spin reel is going to be underneath there. All right, so spin model and the Baitcast model here. The reason why I've shown you both of them, and the reason why I'm going to actually do, well, ultimately two rod reviews in one review, is because these are both the same models of rods. So they're both the Legend Elite series. And the componentry, the materials are very much similar. They're the same actually for both models here. So yeah, I thought I'd put it together in the same video and do this as one. All right, so starting off, you're going to get a very traditional look with these rods. All right, so these are obviously got cork here for the handle. Cork in this section here. Moving on to a very traditional color. This St. Croix called this particular color the forest green, and it looks really nice, guys. Like it's just a very traditional fishing rod look. All right, so yeah, I appreciate that, guys. I'm into my sort of classic and nostalgic looks, I suppose. All right, so first of all, technology is involved with it. Let's talk about the blank, because in terms of fishing rods, guys, the blank is absolutely the most important part of the rod itself. It is absolutely the heart, and everything is built around the blank. So the blank is the central piece, this tubular section here, guys, without anything else like put onto it, like the guides, your reel seat, your handles. So the blank is ultimately that tubular bit that runs there. All right. Unfortunately, with the blank, it's like I said, it's the most important part of the fishing rod, but it's the one part of the fishing rod that if a company really wanted to hide a bit about it, or just make an average blank and advertise it as a totally awesome blank, they could do so. Okay, they could really do that. But the issue is that it only takes a certain amount of time before X amount of anglers realize that the blank isn't really that sensitive, it isn't really that light, it doesn't really fish that well, it isn't really that strong, it doesn't give you that sensation or feedback from your lure or when you are hooked onto a fish. And over time, that reputation will sort of destroy this, the particular rod. All right, guys, but what I want to let you know, first of all, and I want to start off by saying is St. Croix builds some of the most unbelievably perfect blanks that you can get in the market. They're very, very good rods. Okay, so it's either, look, a lot of times with these American brands, you know, like you either got St. Croix or G. Loomis seems like to be the major big two. Okay, so they're fighting for that crown of which rod is the best. St. Croix do an extremely good job of being able to make their fishing rods, and I know this because of my experience and what I've come to know from these rods, you know, on the water and fishing with them. Okay. All right. So the technologies, first of all, the technologies will include ART. ART stands for Advanced Reinforcing Technology. What that is a special procedure that they have with these blanks themselves. Okay. So what they do is they reinforce this particular blank, okay, as they're making it with certain layers, okay, to ultimately create a very lightweight blank, make it incredibly strong, so stronger than what it should be, but at the same time have the sensitivity, strength and flexibility that you'd expect out of a really good quality rod. Okay, so pretty much while they're making this blank, they're going to roll certain materials, certain bits of carbon, not carbon, excuse me, graphite around the mandrel, which is the metal piece that sits inside there that slowly goes thinner. You know, they wrap certain graphite around there. And then when they heat that graphite up, it depends on what sort of materials they put in there that equals to, well, ultimately how strong, how light, how sensitive your rod's going to be, how well it's going to fish on the water as well. Okay, so read up a little bit more about ART, but it pretty much adds no further weight onto the rod, but makes it, and no further thickness, because anyone can make the world's strongest rod by making it incredibly thick, and it's going to be heavier as well, guys. You know, adding more strength, it's going to be heavier. They've actually been able to keep the lightweight blank, keep that sort of thickness, but make it even more stronger. Blanks look like this, guys. So they're rounded in a circular shape here. So they're going to look like this. As the fish gets on, and then you put load onto your rod there, and then it bends like so. Some rods are going to have an issue with something called ovaling. Okay, it's a phenomenon that goes like this. As you're under load, instead of being a round shape, it's now going to oval into that sort of shape, creating certain stress points, I suppose. It's not good for a round blank, okay? You're wanting to keep that as round as possible, giving you the maximum sensitivity, maximum integrity, and original integrity that the blank really should have, guys. Okay, next step would be IPC, which is integrated polycurve. What integrated polycurve is a type of technology that St. Croix have got with their rods, that all rods are made on a mandrel. So what a mandrel is a solid piece of metal that is rounded, okay, that slowly goes smaller. Okay, so as we can see here, this graphite has been wrapped around here, and then it slowly goes smaller because it was wrapped around that mandrel. Okay, and as you can see here in the tip, it gets incredibly thin. All right, so what integrated polycurve really is the fact that they make those mandrels absolutely perfectly, and in a way where it's got the best strength throughout the whole blank. It's got the best action throughout the whole blank as well. But yeah, it's pretty much the mandrel cut in a very nice, smooth transition. Very, very smooth. And it tapers into a smaller section. Okay, so larger there and then smaller there. In very fine and not harsh increments, giving you the perfect roundness and slowly going smaller pretty much, in layman's terms. All right, last technology would be something called the NSI technology. NSI stands for nanosilica technology. Nanosilica technology is pretty much nanoparticles. Okay, so nano meaning incredibly microscopically small, that has been shot into the fibers of that carbon or graphite and fills those holes there. It's pretty much the resin that is involved with the blank, okay? Because all these blanks are a carbon fiber slash graphite construction. So if we get those fibers here, if you can see in the gaps of my fingers, you can see actually some gaps there. So it's up to the resin itself. So the resin is ultimately the glue, okay, that is within that section to fill those sections right up there where I'm showing you with my thumb, best it can, okay, without any imperfections. And they use a resin called 3M matrix resin, which is arguably the best resin in the world at the moment for fishing rods. Okay, so it's created by the company 3M, and St. Croix have employed them to supply them that resin. All right, so nanosilica technology is pretty much a nano style resin. So imagine nano meaning that if there's small enough little bits of resin, imagine a jar filled with marbles. The marbles are each marble is going to have gaps in between it. It's up to the resin to be able to get into those gaps and fill those gaps incredibly well, because they're so small. Those pieces of microscopic pieces can get right into each and every nook and cranny to be able to once be heated up and melt and then and cured and then slowly cooled. It will then give the maximum amount of strength, because those bits have entered each and every crevice there. All right, please do look up on Nano's technology as well, guys. All right, next step would be two types of graphites that they use. In the Legend Elite series, they're going to use something called SC6 graphite, okay, which is an incredibly high modulus graphite, okay, so meaning incredibly strong. Now they got the rest of the rod is pretty much used with also a very expensive material. SC6 is incredibly expensive to use, but SC5 is also expensive material. It's not as expensive as SC6 because it costs more to manufacture that stuff, but SC5 is a very high modulus as well, but incredibly high strain, meaning that it can flex very, very well, guys, before it wants to, snap in half, really. All right, so this particular model here is going to be your baitcaster. So it does feature EVA butt here at the end. Very nice quality cork, guys. Very comfortable to hold. Age as well. This particular type of reel seat here is the Fuji ACS baitcaster reel seat, really. Moving on to where you tie onto your reel there, and then moving on to this cork section as well. Guys, one knock I have on the baitcaster, and I absolutely hate it, is the fact of when you put on a baitcaster here and the feet go into that section and your baitcaster's about here, it's incredibly difficult to get your finger underneath here to undo the baitcast reel there. All right, it's only once you own these rods you realize that that piece there is incredibly annoying, and it's very difficult to get your finger there. And if you have been fishing all day and it's a little bit wet, it's a little bit harder to get off. Okay, it's very difficult to get off, actually. All right, next step would be your, but yeah, look, I'm just nitpicking. I just got to let you know what my experiences are. All right, so next step would be your hook holder there. So it's a U-shaped hook holder. It is on the bottom of the baitcaster there. So as your line's coming out there, there's pretty much going to be no chance that your line's going to get wrapped around there and get caught on that section there. All right, so a bit of information for you here on this model. It is the St. Croix Legend Elite. All right, so LC or LEC 60 MF, standing for 6 foot, medium power, fast action. SC5 graphite there, didn't state the SC6, but all St. Croix Legend Elite series have got them. NIS resin, which is now renamed to Fortified Resin System, which is FRS, so they've just renamed that. And then IPC, which is integrated polycurve, and then advanced reinforcing technology there. Okay, its line rating is about 10 to 17 pounds. And its lure rating for, the recommended lure weight is around about a 1/4 ounce to about 5/8 ounce. It's still made in the United States at the St. Croix American factory, which is in Park Falls, Wisconsin. Okay, so let's move into a bit more about here. No, that's pretty much all I have to show you. Oh, one more thing, super grade cork, which I've already talked about, which I really like. It feels great. And it's got something called flex coat on it. So St. Croix have painted this rod with 2 coats of something called flex coat. It's a special type of paint job that they do have that's very resilient, very tough, and obviously you can tell by the name flex, it probably means that this rod can bend a fair bit, and it's not going to do too much damage to that paint job at all. Alright, so with the spin model here, what you're going to be getting is with the reel seat here, it's going to be Fuji's VSS reel seat. Alright, VSS. So there you go. Moving on to a hook holder there. Unfortunately, it is on the same side as your spinning reel. Where your line comes out, there is a chance of hooking onto that, and I have done that myself as well. Bit of information there for you. This particular model is going to be 6'6" medium power, fast action. Moving into that information I read before, 6 to 12 pound line rating, and then 3/16 to 5/8 ounce for the lure rating. Once again, made in the United States. All Legend Elite and Legend Extreme series. Bit of information on those 3 technologies that they do have here: ART, IPC, and NSI. Alright guys, moving on to the part that I really like is the guides. Guides are really important. You do pay more money for better quality guides because they simply cost more for these materials. You're getting along all of them, okay? Actually, I'll just show you one of them. You'll be getting Fuji's, let's have a look here, Fuji SIC concept guides. Okay, so what they are is this particular model is a type of tangle-free guide. There, it is a titanium finish, very, very nice, rust-free, and the SIC. So, like I said before, SIC, Fuji SIC or SIC guides stands for what's that stand for? Silicon carbide, silica carbide. Okay, so it's one of the hardest substances known to man, guys. So what silicon carbide is ultimately this bit here. We see here a titanium frame, that metal bit there, but see that little black ring internally here? That's called a runner. You can probably see it more on that angle. That's made out of that hard material there that that Fuji have employed onto their very popular guides. So silicon carbide will actually has got more of. If you get a blowtorch and actually burn this, the titanium will actually melt at a certain heat or certain degrees before the silicon carbide even is damaged. Really, it's an incredibly hard and incredibly strong material, which is absolutely perfect for your guides there. Alright, so guys, sorry if this video has been really long. I really wanted to give you like a really in-depth review about these rods. And I'm going to end the video now by talking a little bit about my experiences with these. This one here is the 6 foot, zoom out, the 6 foot casting model here. And it is by far the most accurate rod that I've ever owned. What I really like about this rod, and both of these rods, when you first pick them up, you're going to notice an incredibly light rod. Alright guys, probably almost one of the lightest rods I've ever held, eh? Yeah, so you're going to be able to fish these for many hours without too much strain on yourself. Lastly, what I love about these rods, and I really like this Baitcaster here because it's actually the shortest Baitcaster out of the casting range. It's actually only 6 foot. So with shorter rods, what you're going to be getting is incredibly awesome accuracy when it comes to being able to swing your lures and throw your lures in a really small spot, which is awesome. Okay. So definitely the 6 foot is very made for for accuracy. It's got plenty of strength, guys. Okay. Next is going to be the spin rod, highly rated. I've only got good things to say about it. It tapers down and gets really thin in this section really well, but it's incredibly strong. These St. Croix rods are very strong rods, guys. I've caught different species of fish on them, and I've never really had a problem with these rods whatsoever holding up in terms of their ability to land that fish for you. Okay. Lastly, okay, so let's sum it up. I love the lightweightness of it. I love the combination with the blank, where how it's so incredibly light. It's incredibly strong. And most importantly, guys, it's some of the most sensitive rods that I've ever owned. So incredibly sensitive. You can feel your lures working. You can feel little taps of when fish are, tapping on your bait, or if you've had a fish go up and tap that lure, you can feel everything. You can feel the rocks. You can feel the differences between bumping off cover like logs, sand, rocks, weeds, grass, you name it. Very sensitive rods, guys. Nothing negative really to say about it besides the fact of this reel seat here. It's very difficult, and it's only, like I said, do a test. If you own one, do a test where you put your reel on there. You'll find that it is very difficult to get your fingers down onto just this small section to undo the reel. But that's, once again, that's just nitpicking, guys. I got to pick on something with this rod because these are pretty much well, nearly perfection. All right, guys. So out of 10, a number out of 10, I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10, or 9 to 9.5 out of 10, guys. Top rated rod. All right, guys, so if you got any questions, please comment below. If you want to subscribe, hit over there so you can see. I'm actually going to do a series of more more rod reviews as well. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up over that section. I appreciate it, guys. If you've got any questions, leave it below. Happy fishing. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.